Hello, it was in teleSUR English. As we know, the Uruguayan people is bidding farewell to former President Jose Pepe Mujica, accompanying the leader's funeral procession right now in Montevideo, all the way to the Legislative Palace. Let's now welcome international analyst Juan Raul Ferrera to talk more on Pepe Mujica's life and impact not only in Uruguay abroad, but abroad as well. Welcome to From the South, Juan.
Well, thank you very much, Luis Alberto.
It's a
It's a
pleasure.
great honor for me. It's a great honor for me to be in such a sad day, sad for the world, and it's very shocking for us Uruguayans to see how the entire world reacted to his death. A simple man, a humble man, a man that had no pretensions, and starting from the new Pope, going over conservative, liberal, and revolutionary governments all over the world, have reacted in mourn, have reacted in sadness. We have received messages from President Maduro from Venezuela, President Petro from Colombia, President Lula from Brazil, all over the world, all over the world. Myself, my cell phone has received calls from all over the world, friends that one has made along so many years of political struggle, journalism, and writing books. Everybody is calling shocked. We Uruguayans were aware that he was in his last stage. He used to say it. And when he didn't show up to vote last Sunday, we realized the time had come. And I myself had been in his chacra, in his farm, only 10 days ago. Yesterday, my wife spoke to his wife, and she said it's going to happen anytime. So one thought that we were getting ready to the situation, but when the time comes, we weren't. People crying in the streets. Well, not to say along the ways where he passed in his last farewell to the city, stopping by on the Movimiento de Liberación Nacional Tupamaros headquarters, then in the Frente Amplio, the coalition headquarters, and in his own party, the MPP, to which I personally belong. And people crying, people from all ages, old people that were militants at his time, people of his age who were not militants but were convinced by his way of life and his sacrifice all over, and young people. Personally, Luis Alberto, let me tell you, when I had to say a few words when he passed to the press, when he passed by the MPP, the Movimiento de Participación Popular headquarters, I saw some young people involved in the MPP flag, and I ran and embraced them and told them, now it's in your hands. And we all embraced together and cried along. This, let me tell you, for me is really something, because when I was only 23 years, I barely escaped from the Plan Condor in Buenos Aires, and some of my friends died. And ever since, I haven't been able to cry out of sadness. But today, I'm not ashamed to say and to recognize I cried. I'm sorry, I'm sad that Pepe Mujica's counsel, friendship, smile, the way to show us where to go for, will no longer be there. That's what the Uruguayan people, even those who disagree with him, I just saw on the TV, I'm on my way in a few minutes to the Legislative Palace. I saw President Sanguinetti, an adversary, President Lacalle de Herrera, an adversary, President Lacalle Pou, a strong adversary. They all walked together to give the last farewell to Pepe Mujica. We will have to, it will take some time to get used in Uruguay to his absence.
An important loss that the Uruguayan people have suffered because it was very beloved. I was wondering, Juan, if we can talk a bit about his journeys, his beginnings as a guerrilla fighter with the Tupamaros. How did this experience of imprisonment when he was fighting against the dictatorship back then, the torture and the 14 years in solitary confinement, do you think how did this shape his political philosophy and how it made him approach the leadership?
I think it was vital. Many times speaking to him, he would say, people believe that the nature is silent. No, nature is very noisy. You can't imagine, he used to tell me, how noisy it was for to listen ants, flies, small insects. They make such a concert at night. And he was together as there were 9 hostages of the National Liberation Movement Tupamaros taken by the military as hostages. You take any action, we'll kill them. And they spent that way 12 years in a hole in groups of 3. And his 2 companions were El Russo Rosenkopf, who's still alive. It was very difficult for me to embrace him today. And another Tupamaro leader who was his Minister of Defense, who is already dead. Rosenkopf is probably the only survival of the 9 hostages. Fernandez Huidobro was the other one of the group of 3. But they communicated by the wall, making signals, sound signals, a special Morse they had invented themselves to communicate. But that helped him understand what the real values of life were. He never was a man of consumption, and he never posed as a poor man as part of his image campaign. It was only natural on him. He used to say, I'm not poor. Poor are those that can't eat every day. I eat every day, but I like to live this way in order to value those things that are important. If you let me a personal reference, my father was a political leader in Uruguay at the time of the Tupamaros. And one day Mujica told me, you know what's your problem, mine? What your problem is, he told me, that all the tragic moments of your life you had to share with your father. And you know what my problem is, he said, and turned his head, looked at my eyes and said, that I didn't have a son with whom I could share the tragic moments of my life. That was Pepe Mujica. Emotion, as he used to say, con razón y corazón, emotion and rationality. That was Pepe Mujica. And I tell you, this country will miss him forever.
In your words, Juan, to wrap up, how would you define, how will the people of Uruguay remember Pepe Mujica? What legacy does he leave for the Uruguayan people and from everyone in Latin America?
Well, in an optimistic way, I would say we will always miss him and his example will be present there the entire time, the whole time. But in a realistic manner, I have to admit that no things will be the same in the future. And we have to think a lot about it. We, my generation, which was not, I'm 72, Pepe was 90. Well, but my generation has to understand we have to give our space to the young people so that they can follow his example that they witnessed and they lived with. Uh, I don't know if you know, Luis Alberto, but in a few weeks I will be leaving for the Vatican, where I'll be serving as Uruguayan ambassador. And this was possible for two close friends that have already died in the past few weeks. Pope Francis, whom I knew for the past 50 years, and Pepe Mujica, who was the one who suggested our new government to appoint me there. So it's very difficult for me to be objective, but I think Uruguay will really feel his absence, and we have to prepare ourselves to fill the emptiness that he leaves with pasión, razón y corazón, as he used to say, passion, rationality, and heart. In that way, Uruguayans should meet once again as we all met around Pepe Mujica, and as we are meeting today. It's incredible the incredible crowd in front of the Legislative Palace to pay the last farewell to Pepe.
Thank you, Juan, for your time and your inputs here with us from the South.
Thank you very much, Luis Alberto, and God help Pepe.
Thank you. Well, like this, we have come to the end of these brief headlines. We'll have more in upcoming news briefs.